Punt intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zollo. Oh, baby. Week 1 was something. Football's finally back, which means, we get to yell at the players that did us wrong and hype up the players that did us well. Okay? Irrelevant, tough statement that I just had. There's a lot to unpack from week 1. Obviously, some initial knee-jerk reactions from week 1 that I'm sure not just myself, Ryan, and Josh have, but you guys have as well. And we want to hear those knee-jerk reactions as well. We got an hour show ready for you. We're heading into week 2. Let's go for it. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I am your host, Joe Zollo, and I want to say I just realized that I ended the first part of the intro with "Let's go for it," and it's ironic because Nathaniel Hackett's a bitch. Joining me as always, Joshua Hudson and Ryan Weisse. And I mean, we knew this was coming. We knew this was going to be the first thing in here. It is officially Jeff Wilson season.
It is officially Jeff Wilson season.
Try to shoot him down. Jeff always returns. And in every league I play
I knew we were going to kick the show off with this.
And every league I play with my brother, he has picked up Jeff Wilson. Every single league. Like without fail, he has Jeff Wilson on his team, and I can guarantee you Jeff Wilson will be in his starting lineup this week. Gentlemen.
And he should be.
Yeah. I'll tell you, week 1 sucked. It was bad. I beat Josh in Dynasty, and I looked at every other team in the league and realized, wow, my team still sucks because I was like the 7th highest scoring team in the league.
Dude, you came with Jonathan Taylor and Jamar Chase. Like, I really didn't stand much of a chance, in all honesty. So.
What up, boy? You didn't tell him I came with George Pickens and the dual backfield of Damian Harrison and Ramondre Stevenson?
Oh,
what's up?
That worked out well for you.
What's up? I said this last week. I said the Titans defense was going to play well, and they did play well. So shout out Titans defense. They definitely did help me. But my big
one,
no, God no. But I mean, yardage. Who cares about that? Jeffrey Simmons was in the backfield on every single play. That's all that matters, except the plays where Saquon ran 60 yards. But we don't count those. My big money league, I won. Every other league, I mean, I had T. Higgins and Najee in one league. I Keenan Allen in another. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a tough week. Let me tell you, it was a tough week.
T. Higgins cost me some money in DFS this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Hurting. All right. We're gonna do some reactions here from week 1 of us because there's some very hardcore reactions I think everyone has just after week 1. Us well knowing in the back of our minds it's gonna be irrelevant in like 3 weeks for like the most part. A lot of these things we're gonna say probably irrelevant. Things are going to work themselves out. A lot of offenses didn't even play in the preseason. So I have my list, and I'm just gonna say these, and I think there's some fun ones in here. Because go ahead, Ryan. Do you have something?
I was gonna say I think this is just gonna end up being your segment, and I'm okay with that. They get to hear me and Josh react on Mondays now, so go to it, Joe.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, you ready? Because
Joe has notes, folks.
For the record. None of there's 2 things in here that are good, and there's like 17 bullet points. So welcome. Starting on Thursday, Matthew Stafford is back to his Detroit Lions ways. He literally only targeted Cooper Kupp.
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna just shit on Matthew Stafford.
No.
Okay.
No. He is back to throwing to one receiver.
Yeah.
Because there was one play that stood out to me. And it was the play action rollout where he ran for the first down.
Mm-hmm.
He got the first down. Allen Robinson, there wasn't anybody around him for 7 yards, 10 yards down the field. He was running with him the whole way. It was a drag route designed for Allen Robinson, and he didn't want to throw him the football. There was no one near him. That's scary. That's just scary. Teams need to have a QB spy every play against Buffalo. I don't care what you could run engage 8. You need to have one of those safeties as a quarterback spy, and you leave 2 in coverage. That's what you need to have, because very clearly Josh Allen is just going to have his way if you don't have anybody watching over him or playing contain. Jalen Ramsey sucks. I can't tell you how many times I've told this to you. Jalen Ramsey is terrible. Stephon Diggs destroyed him. And then he had a terrible, he was like almost a perfect passer rating against him.
No, it was a perfect passer rating.
Excuse me. Derek Carr is force feeding Devontae Adams. Don't like that. No urgency from Denver. Yeah. Jacoby Myers needs the football more. I don't know if you guys caught the ball that he caught over Xavier Howard.
Very nice.
But it was disgusting.
Yep.
It was ridiculous. If the Dolphins only throw to Tyreek, I will be very wrong. And I cannot stress this enough. The Dolphins offense is terrible, and they still suck. They scored 7 points on Sunday. The other 10 came from field goals and defense, and they didn't score it all in the second half. The issue was not the New England defense. It was very much their offense. But you also noticed there was no big plays from Tyreek Hill. They wrapped him up and did a very good job of containing him, did New England. I don't know where he finished on the week, but I don't think it was inside the top 24. If it was, Tyreek, he probably had what? He had 15 points, I think.
Wide receiver 17, 18 fantasy.
Okay. But no big boom plays out of him. And also, the 2 deep balls Tua Tagovailoa threw to him, guess where they ended up? Short. This is going to be a common theme the entire season. And very clear, they figured out, oh my God, Jalen Waddle's better. Let's throw him the football. And they did. And they scored a touchdown. Their only touchdown of the game, which was blown coverage by the Patriots. Kyle Duggar was not in the right spot. Ryan's curse continues. Aaron Jones guaranteed RB1. I think he meant guaranteed backup RB2 to AJ Dillon. It is uncanny, and I am pissed at who you have in your upside guaranteeing these certain spots. Because I have one of them on my team, and I swear if your curse strikes, they're going to be very angry.
It's going to be great.
Joe Burrow, yikes. Pittsburgh Steelers, yikes. That's the game. Geno Smith is now the best quarterback in the NFL. Tom Brady had a
first half Geno Smith.
No. Is the best quarterback in the NFL. I did not stutter. Tom Brady had a rough time on third down, an extremely rough time on third down. Carson Wentz is good? ? And Jahan Dotson better than Terry McLaurin? ? I'm okay. That's just false. But he did look very good. I will say he did look very good.
Contested catches were looking fantastic.
Yeah. We've been saying this since he was drafted. James Robinson is better than Travis Etienne. Get it through your heads. It's not even close. Trevor Lawrence, and I said this, and I think this is one of my better quotes I ever had. Trevor Lawrence has the accuracy of a cartoon villain, and I do think that was one of the funnier things I've ever said in my life. He's bad. There was some wide open passes that looked horrendous, and he could not hit. Javonte Williams will be 2019 Christian McCaffrey if he averages 11 catches a game. And yeah, that's what, and I put in a note here, bring up weekly recaps. So my favorite thing about CBS, they send you weekly recaps. And the guy who I was playing had a very infamous tight end that we talk about a lot on this team, or on the show, excuse me. And in the report,
to be fair, it comes up a lot in our team chat too. So
in the game recap, it says, meanwhile, for the record, I destroyed him by like 23 points. Meanwhile, Coach Daniel Sakari can look to Cole Kmet and Tom Brady when passing out blame for the loss. The two combined to score only 10.5 points. Asterisk. Tom Brady scored the 10.5 points. That's it. That literally, the CBS blamed the loss on Cole Kmet. Did I have Russell Wilson and DeAndre Swift? Yes. Irrelevant because Cole Kmet. I had Cameron Brate in my lineup. Cameron Brate. You could have multiplied Cole Kmet's points by 1,000,000, and Cameron Brate's one catch was more than him. So that's all I need to say, and I'm very happy.
I don't think we're going to spend a lot of time on Kmet this show. I just want to throw out friends of ours, Troy, others, who think that this is the bounce back week. the Green Bay Packers held the Minnesota Vikings tight ends to 3 catches for 19 yards. So if by bounce back you mean 5 fantasy points, congratulations.
I mean, when you think about it, that's it's not even 3 times.
That's an incalculable percentage more.
Yeah, it's not even 3 times. Yeah, you can't even, because whatever number you multiply by, it's just it's irrelevant.
Not gonna be pretty.
Okay, quick injury updates. Najee, I think he came out today saying he expects himself to play. Dak Prescott out 8 weeks. The team is aiming for 4 weeks. Good luck, Jerry Jones, MD. Rondale Moore considered day-to-day. T. Higgins still in concussion protocol. That's literally, you just have to wait. Like, he could say he's good. The NFL can tell him, sorry, no, you're not. Keenan Allen officially out. Mac Jones with a back injury, full participant. He should be good to go. The fact that TJ Watt's not playing is help for him.
Good news.
Yeah, help for him. Alvin Kamara dealing with a rib injury. Dennis Allen says he expects to be fine for week 2. Elijah Mitchell on IR. It is Jeff Wilson's season. We put that in the notes. Chris Godwin expected to be out a couple weeks with a hammy. Shocking. He wasn't ready for week 1. Shocking. George Kittle did not practice. I believe did he leave practice today? I believe he left practice today. He started and left practice. And
the alert that I got said that he didn't practice. So.
Yeah, I just saw him not practicing. Yeah.
DeAndre Swift, what the hell? Didn't practice Wednesday due to an ankle injury. DeAndre, I need you this week, so that would be helpful.
The big no practice days are Friday. So I think if there's any sort of like, he missed practice today, it's kind of like, temper expectations, wait for the sleeper updates, that kind of stuff. But
yes. Yep. Okay. Sponsor reads coming soon. Should be at or around 15 minutes. Wow, I'm early on that. That's great. Any sponsor reads,
we got some questions to get to, so that'll get us right up there.
But do we have any sponsors, though?
Sponsor reads will be on the streams of the week.
Fantastic. That's what we love to hear. Okay, Freezer Burns. Okay,
love it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. StreamYard's pissing me off with these comments popping up.
With the flash? Yeah, threw me off on Monday as well.
All right, StreamYard, figure your shit out.
We don't pay our good money for this shit. Come on.
I know. Hey, guys, we love you, StreamYard. It's okay. Hey, guys, he's stuck on tight end to start. Dalton Schultz, Gerald Everett, Albert O, and a full PPR. Schultz without Dak Prescott. He has the Bengals at home with Cooper Rush. Gerald Everett tomorrow night. Home against Kansas City, I believe. They are in LA.
No, they're on the road in Kansas City.
They're on the okay, that makes more sense. And then Albert O is at home against the Houston Texans, who apparently the Denver Broncos want to run 17 tight ends, which is strange coming from Green Bay. But Josh, I'll let you start.
If I had to go this week, I'm going to go Everett with Keenan Allen out. The Bengals, they can play defense, and I'm not loving that matchup for Schultz, and I love it even less with Cooper Rush at quarterback. But I do think he's going to kind of live in that underneath, so that could benefit Schultz. But CeeDee Lamb is like, 11 targets, 2 catches. Like, they're not. I don't feel the need from a defensive standpoint. Like, hey, I'm going to double cover this guy. Like, I want to force him to beat me at this point and show that he can be a wide receiver 1. So I would put a lot more coverage there on Schultz as that underneath guy, in my opinion. So I'm going to go Everett. I do like the upside with Albert O, but I want to see that tight end usage start to go this way in Albert O's favor before I start really relying on wanting to start him.
Ryan.
Exactly where I stand. Albert O did see the most targets out of that entire thing. For tight ends, for me, you can chase the volume, and I do think the volume might be there for Schultz, but I don't think they score a touchdown. Kansas City gave up a touchdown to a very injured Zach Ertz, who may not even end up playing this week now because he probably shouldn't have played last week. So I think Everett has a good chance to find the end zone without Keenan Allen out there as well. So I think Everett, you're going to see 6 to 8 targets. The volume's going to be there, and he has the best chance of all these guys to find the end zone.
Albert Okuwegbunam is the pass-catching tight end of the group. We know he can't block. Of the 4 tight ends they played on Monday Night Football, he's the worst blocking tight end. So when you see him out there, 9 times out of 10, they're probably throwing the football. I don't like Gerald Everett just as a player personally, but with being the man down, I would lean Gerald Everett if you don't want to start him on a short week. I think Albert O is a good play. I picked him up in one league. I drafted him in a couple other leagues too. So I'm playing Albert O with no reservations, honestly.
Like I said, there's really not an awful play in full PPR. There's not an awful play in this entire bunch. Anything less than full PPR, it would be Everett for me, just because I think he has the best chance to score the touchdown.
Everett has the best touchdown upside. He's really, I mean, in the passing game, he's competing with Mike Williams, like really competing with Mike Williams. That's the other touchdown guy. So, yeah, I think all around Gerald Everett. If you don't like starting guys in a short week, Albert O is totally fine. All right, to Verduct, I think. I don't know. Traded Derrick Henry and DJ Moore for James Conner, Chase Edmonds, Brandon Cooks, and DeAndre Hopkins. Thoughts? I'll go knee jerk. I don't like Conner or Edmonds, and I'm totally fine with Cooks and Hopkins. Gentlemen?
I didn't love it when I initially saw it either. If you were in desperate need for another wide receiver starter, which you're still 6 weeks away from, and desperate need of a second running back, I see the point of it, but I'd probably rather have Henry and Moore.
Josh?
Yeah, I think I'd rather go Henry and Moore there. I mean, from a depth perspective, yeah, I mean, Connor's still going to score touchdowns. Edmonds was very heavily involved week one. I know it was a little underwhelming with less than 11 fantasy points, but I think you've got a capable starter, a flex, another starting wide receiver that can more than replace DJ Moore, and then obviously Hopkins in 6 weeks, which, you know, should be fine. I think it's a pretty fair trade all in all. I mean, I guess it really depends which Derrick Henry we're getting, because if we're getting the one from Sunday, this is smash Connor Edmonds side, in my opinion, because
that's fair.
Did not look good at all last week.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that. You brought it up, Josh, or no, Kira brought it up as we were closing out the show, that should we be worried about Derrick Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not hitting the panic button yet, but I'm close to it, in all honesty. I try to give a lot of people some mulligans on Monday nights, week one, because nobody seems to play preseason anymore. So, you know, kind of getting back into the flow of things. I'm going to side with Henry and Moore now, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite.
My boy Tay Crowder absolutely popped him, which I was very excited about because I brought that up on the IDP show last week. I said, look out for Tay Crowder taking over that Blake Martinez spot. Elixirs won the week with 83 points, and 18 of them coming from Younghoe Koo. So that's really impressive. And also bad at the same time.
Hey,
look,
win's a win. You take them,
win,
you get them.
I was just going to say, the schedule matters so much more than your team 9
100%.
times out of 10. So.
100%. Ignatius Pennyfeather the 9th.
Yes.
I love it. Trade CD and Amon-Ra for Debo and Judy. I weirdly feel this is a very even trade, and simply because of the volume. No, I can't. I'm CD and Amon-Ra. I cannot say Debo and Judy in my best interest. I think CD Lamb is one of the better receivers in the NFL, and Amon-Ra St. Brown showed you that he's not going anywhere. So I would stick with CD and Amon-Ra personally. Ryan?
I'm scared of the Cowboys. I'd probably go Debo, Judy.
Fair. Josh?
I don't know. I'm still Team Sutton, so that's what kind of makes me like, you know, yep. I'm going to side with CD and Amon-Ra here. I'm going to stay with CD and Amon-Ra. When Cooper Rush, the one game that he started last year, like CD Lamb got peppered. So
that's what I'm saying.
I still think that CD's going to be the guy. I think, you know, again, I think it's just week one jitters. I'm hoping it's just week one jitters because Carlton Davis was all over him. And we've seen Carlton Davis get cooked on more than one occasion. I think he's a very overrated corner, but CD Lamb did nothing to prove me right on that one. So, but yeah, I definitely like Amon-Ra better than Judy. So I'm going to stick with CD and Amon-Ra side here.
Okay. Last question before we go into our upsides, and then we'll get to the rest of these that we see on here. Carrington had a guy offer him CD for Pittman in a 2023 second. Said it was too much. Countered CD for Hurts and Deontay Johnson. I mean, it is a lot. Like, I don't think CD Lamb is worth Hurts and Deontay. Very clearly, Michael Pittman is the wide receiver one in Indianapolis.
So I would say before the season, Pittman in a second. I think that's a fair-ish offer for Lamb, and I would probably take the Lamb side. I'm only making that trade right now if I don't think I can win a championship this season because I need these wins right now, and Pittman's going to put me in a better position to get those wins. The second offer, I feel like he was just trolling you for saying the first offer was too much because that second offer is absolute garbage. So.
Yeah, Hudson Deontay is too much. So, yeah, good thought, Ryan. We'll go from that. That's a great thought. Okay, we will head into our upsides. Everyone, don't worry. We do see questions. We promise. We just want to break them up into 15-minute intervals so we don't just get bogged. We promise you. We see them. Let's roll. Okay, upside. Josh with a fat goose egg last week. Congratulations, my friend. Josh.
Week 1.
Yeah. Wait to the downsides. Week 1. Josh, you have Matt Ryan top 8 quarterback finish. Devin Singletary top 15 running back finish. And Davante Adams will be the wide receiver 1 this week. I'll let you decide which one you want to talk about.
Let's go with the Davante Adams one. I am all about this after seeing the 48.6% target share last week. I understand a lot of that was coming from behind, but this is why they went out and got Davante Adams. Even if you have Hunter Renfrow, even if you have Darren Waller, I still think there's room for optimism. Each of them had a 17.1% target share. That's nothing to shake a stick at. Like it's going to get better from there. But this is a game that I think, they're going to come out and throw. Arizona, God, that secondary is awful. And it's something that we talked about last week where Byron Murphy, their best slot receiver, would probably be able to shut down Juju. Well, guess what? Byron Murphy actually played outside last week, and that's probably why they kept cooking his ass because good God, he is terrible on the outside. Guess who lines up outside? That would be Davante Adams. He lined up outside on 42 of 55% of the snaps. And Murphy needs to be playing in the slot. 61 out of 70 outside. Oof. Yeah, Davante Adams about to have a field day in week 2, and I am here for every single ounce of it.
You guys pay more attention to coverages than I do, Josh. So we talked about this last week because I was in on Juju, and you guys told me Murphy would shadow him, which he didn't. When Juju got quiet in the second half, because we had a lively discussion in the Club Fantasy chat, when Juju got quiet in the second half, did Murphy slide to him? Was that part of the situation?
Juju just wasn't on the field. They blew him out.
Okay.
I mean, even Kelsey played only 64% of the total.
Well, yeah, the third quarter. Or from the
that's essentially what happened. Like, they just started spreading the ball around. And that's what you're going to see from this offense. There is no real, outside of Kelsey, there's no dominant number 1 here.
Yeah.
And we do talk a lot like, oh, so-and-so's going to shadow. Very few teams actually do that. Just looking at ESPN's Mike Clay's shadow report from this past week, the only one that I saw that was really gung-ho on shadow was Xavier Howard from Miami. He was draped all over Devontae Parker. 30 out of 32 of Parker's routes, Xavier Howard was all over him. So
they didn't need to do that.
Well, and they really didn't.
Let
me
tell you.
But I think that's kind of the way they're going to go until Byron Jones comes back, because Nick Needham belongs in the slot because Nick Needham got cooked on the outside last week. So it's kind of one of those, you have to sort of, this is where paying attention to these shadow reports and coverage breakdowns really come into play, because most teams are running 60+% in zone coverage.
Yep.
So there's no real Jalen Ramsey's going to be draped all over this guy. Tre'Davious White's going to be draped all over this guy. It's just not going to be that way. So they're going to move these guys around. But what you really want to see is this corner staying on the outside, or are they moving in and out all the time? Is this wide receiver staying outside? Or are they, lining, are they in motion a lot? So, and that's the thing. They're going to move Davante Adams around, and he's going to sit in zones, and he's going to do the thing that he does. But, I mean, look how often he put those defensive backs on skates towards the second half of that game. Good God. I mean, he's just so smooth. There's no corner in this league that can keep up with him.
And he just looks so much bigger than everybody. It's hilarious watching him play most of the time.
Yeah, he's so good. So, yeah, give me all of it. I wanted to kind of hedge and say top 3, but I'm like, no, I'm going to get ballsy. I think he's going to be the wide receiver 1.
I love it. I went big with my picks, too.
Yeah, I hate your last one.
I was going to say, Joe, which one do you want me to talk about?
I don't want you to talk about the last one.
Okay, so we're going to skip it. So you can say them, and then I won't talk about it.
Yeah, because because when you talk about it, it becomes real, and I don't
Okay.
want it to, because it's the exact opposite of what you say in a lot of these situations. So it's just me being cautious with my own team. And for those that have said player on that team, Ryan's picks: Kirk Cousins top 5, Allen Robinson scores 2 touchdowns, and the aforementioned player Javonte Williams is a top 5 running back. I feel like the A-Rob one is probably the biggest one here, because Kirk Cousins didn't exactly look bad in week 1.
I was going to say, that one's not the biggest stretch. So I had to take it up to top 5. But no, let's talk about A-Rob.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins looked good enough for someone on First Take today to say Kirk Cousins over Lamar Jackson.
Oh.
So,
okay.
I mean, when you think about rushing ability, I think Kirk Cousins. So
you look at fully guaranteed contracts.
you think about when you think about under contract, you think Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, there you go.
A-Rob, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he had 2 targets last week. So.
Yeah, so I'm actually going on the history of what we've seen from the Rams. Last year, we were ready to put Robert Woods out to pasture after week 1, 4 targets. Bounce back in week 2 with 9 targets after they mentioned they want to get Robert Woods more involved. What was the very first thing they said after this game is we want to get Allen Robinson more involved. And then when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, the Falcons played out of their mind last week. As good as the Falcons played against a better Saints team is as bad as the Rams played. I think we just see the world set itself right in this game. On top of that, the Saints had a 100-yard wide receiver. That's going to be your Cooper Kupp, and a 2-touchdown wide receiver. And I think that's going to be Allen Robinson this week. So I think we're going to see an increase in targets. And I think Robinson gets into the end zone twice. They have something to prove. They definitely have something to prove. And the Falcons are a team to prove it. And they're at home.
Go Birds. Yeah. Go Birds. Go Atlanta.
All about it. Let's go, baby.
Atlanta got after the quarterback last week. And if they're able to do that again, it could be a problem for Matt Stafford at this point.
I was about to say, that game's on Monday night. Kirk Cousins has like 1 career win on a Monday night.
Oh, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
But he has 1. Kirk Cousins has more wins than Cole.
I'm even talking about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I'm thinking out loud. And
I was going to say,
top 5.
Okay, you're going back to the
saying
first
go
point.
Birds, so that's why I was like,
he was talking about the Falcons.
Falcons. Go Birds.
Also a
Falcons.
bird, Josh.
That's dirty birds, all right?
little
Go Birds.
The Falcon, also a bird.
I think is what a Falcon says.
The Eagles literally just got mildly, I don't want to say torched, but the Eagles gave up far too much to Goff.
They got dicked down by Jared Goff.
Yeah. Then Cousins went 277-2 last week. They're going to need to be points scored in this game, and I think the Vikings are going to do it. So
2-9 career record for Kirk Cousins on Monday night.
2 more wins than Cole Kmet had receptions last week. So.
I'm not saying they're not going to lose. I'm perfectly fine if they lose. I just think Cousins is going to get busy. So
Cousins is going to get hell yeah, brother. Cousins is going to get busy. Okay. I don't know how I feel about A-Rob, but Atlanta's bad. I think honestly, I think every coach, if they aren't already, the owners and every front office personnel needs to learn CPR for when the Falcons continually choke in these late game situations. So I think they all need to be CPR certified.
And I mean, that's what you're going to get from this team. That's exactly what this team is built to do. I mean, they played far better than they needed
to. Be CPR certified?
Well, yes, they better have plenty of that. But they're going to give games up in the second half, and it's going to get ugly.
Okay. I will have this. Also, Ryan was 1-2 last week. I was 1-2. Nyheim Hines snuck into the top 24. My boy.
Literally. RB24.
Yeah, RB24. My boy. Derek Carr. He's not that bad, guys. He's not that bad.
No.
And the Cardinals suck, as mentioned by Josh. So I have him in the top 10. I'll do this team last. I have Amon-Ra against the Commanders, top 16. Really good matchup. Very clearly the number 1 downfield option for them. If he can do it against guys like Darius Slay and CJ Gardner-Johnson and James Bradbury, two guys that people think are good but actually suck.
All corners suck. Just ask Joe.
All corners suck except Darius Slay. So, but for my argument, C.J. Gardner Johnson, James Bradbury are Pro Bowl corners in my opinion for this specific argument. Amon-Ra, I think he has a really good matchup against absolute doo-doo for the Commanders. And I don't remember the last time anyone's put a defense here.
Ooh,
I
don't think ever.
I was gonna say I leave defenses to y'all too because
yeah,
I suck at it. So
I have the Broncos defense top 5 this week against Houston.
I like it. They may come up later in the show.
They did not allow a single point in the second half. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Seattle ever got into field goal territory, let alone like score the football. They caused 1 turnover, maybe 2 turnovers. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but they caused at least 1 turnover. They caused a fumble against DK Metcalf. The defense was not Denver's issue. The play where Will Dissly scored in a wide open 39-yard touchdown, if you watch that play, Alex Singleton single-handedly destroyed the running back trying to block him on that play. Singleton wrecked him in my top 10 before the season started on our IDP show. Alex Singleton destroyed him and should have sacked him. He just missed the sack, and Will Dissly was butt naked. No, obviously that's a break in coverage, but Singleton should have gotten the sack there. A couple other things. Geno Smith, again, best quarterback in the NFL. Can't do anything about that. But in the second half, they shut down the best quarterback in the NFL, Geno Smith. And I'll continue to say that until he turns back into New York Jets Geno Smith. Davis Mills is his first game in Mile High. If you watch the show, you know I hate young quarterbacks in their first game in high altitude in Mile High Stadium. It is Denver's home opener with a brand new team with probably the first hope since Peyton Manning to potentially win a Super Bowl. They are going to be excited. Davis Mills is not going to know what hit him. And Houston, a very low altitude team, they play almost at sea level there in Houston, are going to go a mile up and play against this squad. I don't like Davis Mills. I think they're going to have to rely heavily on the run game. And if they think Dameon Pierce is going to be able to help them out there, he's a rookie too. The only guy they're going to be able to rely on is Rex Burkhead and Brandon Cooks. I'm very worried about this team. So, ergo, Broncos are a top 5 defense this week.
Correct.
Boom. We love to see that. Okay. So many questions.
Yes.
I like that I can just hit the start thing because
I'm trying to help out here on the back end. So
this dude. Okay. Mick Curly Wolf. Okay. Mr. Curly Wolf. Sorry. First thing, I like seeing all these new names in the chat. This is great. Second, I didn't realize how many funky YouTube names were out there. So these are great. Mr. Curly Wolf. Which side y'all like more? I love that he added the record. I wanted to right.
CD.
You flip over the record.
The CD, you dickhead.
Sorry. Listen. I just saw Lamb, but I'm like, he said what? He said
he's
which
part
side?
of the streaming generation, Ryan. He doesn't know what a fucking CD is.
No, I was gonna bring up a record. He said which side? Like you can flip over a record. So I was like,
Okay.
Oh my god, that's clever. But it also works. It's a double entendre. Congratulations.
I love it.
CeeDee Lamb and Eckler or AJ Brown and Najee Harris? Josh, I'll start with you.
See, for me, it's AJ Brown over CeeDee Lamb, and it's Austin Eckler over Najee.
Oh yeah, you couldn't be more even here.
To me, I guess it really just depends on, do you feel weaker at running back? I would probably go CeeDee Lamb and Eckler. If you feel weaker at wide receiver, go AJ Brown and Najee. Because I don't think there's really a bad side to this. It just, for me, it boils down to roster construction.
Yep.
I think that foot injury is going to pop up on Najee. I hate to speak ill, so give me Lamb and Eckler.
Boo. I went against my best judgment and drafted Najee Harris. I went against it, and I think I'm going to pay for it. I agree with you. I'll go Lamb and Eckler too, just for again. I still think CeeDee Lamb has it in him, and very much Austin Eckler has a way better offense. Like we still see that Pittsburgh's offensive line is terrible. Penny Feather the ninth is back. He also got offered Mixon and Debo for Najee and Jamar, but he doesn't think he's going to take that. So he would get Mixon and Debo and give up Najee and Jamar. You are not giving up Jamar Chase.
I was just going to say, you'll have to pry Jamar Chase from my cold dead hands.
Yeah,
Correct.
and I don't have to ask anybody else because I know the answer. So you are not giving up Jamar Chase. MF Dice Dealer. Motherfucking Dice Dealer. That's what I'm going with. Motherfucker. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, only rolling sevens and craps. Not a good thing. Don't roll sevens and craps. Start 2, standard scoring. Ooh, I think it's our first standard of the year. A-Rob,
It is.
Judy.
We were the standard show for a while there.
I know. Well, Elixir's in his standard question.
Oh, we have another standard question as well. I'm loving it.
Fuck. A-Rob, Judy, Hollywood, DK, Cuttis Samuel. I don't know who he plays for. Which to cut for ARSB?
Samuel. Easy.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. I mean, I feel like people are high on Samuel because of the dual role usage that they worked them into, but he was third on this team behind Doc.
And that's not going to spell
Dawson
touchdowns every week.
McLaurin. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're chasing touchdowns with Samuel. You're chasing the running back usage. I would very easily cut Samuel and pick up Amon-Ra.
Yeah, Amon-Ra shouldn't be in any free agency standard.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Otherwise, so.
Yeah. I'll go ARSB and I will go. God, Seattle plays in San Francisco this week, right? That's a bad matchup. Oh, I hate this. ARSB and Judy against my best judgment. Josh?
I think I would go A-Rob and St. Brown.
Okay. Ryan?
A-Rob and St. Brown. I'm sticking with my A-Rob scores 2 tutties this week. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird if you predict that and then say, don't start Allen Robinson.
For the record, I'm also okay with Allen Robinson. It just, again, worries me a little bit in that offense.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Sutton week.
Hell yeah, baby. We love that. Mr. Curly Wolf is back. Start 2, bench 1. Damian Harris, Michael Carter, Tyler Boyd, and which Jags running back you start with gun to head? That is James Robinson from every single person on this show. Because fuck Travis.
For me. I don't play with Achilles injuries.
Okay. It is James Robinson from everyone on this show. That was funny.
It was perfect.
James Robinson from everyone on this show that was just on it 10 seconds ago when I booted Ryan. And yeah, that's all you need to know. No, okay. So Ryan says ETN. Josh, I assume you say J-Rob as well.
I mean, yes and no. Look, ETN still got play.
Okay, it is James Robinson from everyone on this show right now. Okay, very clearly, Josh and Ryan have had some weird internet connection issues.
Look, he averaged almost 12 yards a carry. I understand there was only 4 carries, and he had some very ugly drops in the passing game, but he still had 6 targets. Like that's what I want to see. Like, Robinson caught 2 touchdowns. Great, cool. That's not going to happen every single week.
I'm more concerned with who are we telling him? I think Tyler Boyd with T. Higgins possibly out is a start, but I would want to know if Higgins is out. Otherwise, this is scary.
Okay, so yeah, I would if Higgins is out, I mean Boyd's the auto start here.
Yeah.
Who do the Jets play?
Browns.
I'm looking up right now. Yeah, Browns.
And then,
I mean, they held McCaffrey pretty well, but also the play calling from Carolina looked awful last week.
Yeah.
I'll still ride Damian. I'm
Steelers
okay.
Actually got beat up by Mixon.
Still Mixon.
Yeah, Mixon did well on the ground. So
and all it takes is one break for Damian Harris. All it took was one break for Joe Mixon to really get him going. If Damian Harris can break one inside the 30, I mean that's no one's catching him. It's an easy touchdown.
Yeah.
So I'll go Boyd and Harris. Michael Carter's usage was really good in week 1, and he looked really good in week 1. But the Browns scare me more than the Steelers on
Joe Flacco's more than willing to throw to running backs. So that's going to continually keep Carter viable as a fantasy.
Yeah, in the mix. Yep.
And let's not forget, Breece Hall had 10 targets too.
I was just going to say, let's not give that to Michael Carter just yet. It's going to be interesting to see.
I mean, Carter was more productive with his targets. Don't get me wrong, but
I also don't think they're going to throw the ball 60 times every week. So
very true. Okay. We'll get through the rest of these starred ones, and then we will head into the downsides. Elixirs. We have his bench, the aforementioned DTN. Kadarius Toney, Chris Olave catching a 2-point conversion, not a touchdown. Alexander Madison, Sky Moore, IR
I'm
Robinson.
assuming Wandale Robinson, maybe.
Got to be
He did
Wandale
leave
Robinson.
early.
Someone dropped Lockett. Do I yoink? Ooh, what a word. Yoink. Also, Wentz is there, and quarterback is Trey Lance. Do you pick him up standard best format? So do you pick up Lockett and drop any of these guys here? And do you pick up Wentz and potentially drop any of these guys on the bench as well?
I feel
I'm
like with
fine with-
Lockett, you're hanging on to name value. That's really what I think. I mean, that passing game, to me, from what I saw from this game, and disclaimer, I was very in and out because I was working while I was doing it. But I think, didn't Lockett only have like 3-4 targets all game and like 1 catch? Like, it wasn't anything too impressive.
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything crazy.
4 targets, 3 for 28.
Yeah, like, I mean, you're still going to get those type of pop games from Lockett because that's just who he is. But this isn't going to be a
Brian
high
Robinson.
volume passing attack. Like, they're
it's
going
Brian
to
Robinson.
dunk it. Brian Robinson. Okay.
There's
Well,
too
I
many
mean,
Robinsons.
Yeah, even dropping Robinson's not going to clear a roster spot for you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I
you
was gonna
need-
say,
yeah.
It's not that big a deal. I mean, if you really want Lockett because you value the name, drop Kadarius Toney. Right now,
Yep.
they're just not using him. I still think he's the best, arguably next to Saquon, the best weapon in that offense. But that's for Dable to figure out eventually. So at this point, you can ride without Toney. He's not that big of a need to have on that team.
There's some
I'm
weird
all
comments.
about. What's up?
There were some weird comments about Tony after the game as well, where they were like, we trust him, but we trust the guys who are out on the field, but we trust him. And like, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. There's something going on there. His usage this Sunday just proves that. So.
And my thing with Lance, I preach this all offseason. If you're going to ride with Lance as your starter, make sure that you have a backup. You need that sort of like that yo-yo effect with him because we don't really know what we're getting with him. There were some promising signs with Lance, but it was a very ugly game. Not really much to take from it. He ran the football. That's the promising sign right there.
Yeah.
And this
okay,
coming week, he's going to run it again. Well, that's what you want from a fantasy quarterback. If they can run the football and they can punch it in the end zone, that's what you want.
I saw a tweet this week, and I wish I could remember who it was to credit them, but they said if you look at Lance's like 3 starts, he's on pace for rushing numbers that we only saw out of Lamar Jackson. That's huge in fantasy. So
when I think of good fantasy quarterbacks, I think of tight end eligibility for my fantasy quarterbacks, which is why I always start Taysom Hill.
obviously.
How the fuck does he still have tight end eligibility? This is stupid.
I'm going to rewind.
He's actually classified as a tight end now.
Yeah. I do
No.
want to rewind real quick,
No,
though.
but
But-
I'm saying like for the NFL purposes.
Yeah.
I'm
he's
fully
classified
aware
as a
of
tight
what
end.
it is,
Yeah.
and the answer is still no.
I'm going to go back real quick. I just saw this was another Elixir Standard League. I do not want Tyler Lockett in Standard League at all. He's not going to score touchdowns this week or this year. So
I would drop Alexander Madison and pick up Carson Wentz. That is what I would do. And I would start Carson Wentz over Trey Lance.
I would drop
Especially this
Kadarius
week.
Toney. and
Okay,
pick up
fine.
Carson Wentz.
Fine. Drop Kadarius Toney. I don't give a shit. They both suck. Carson Wentz, because Trey Lance is doo-doo. Okay. Last 2 quickly. Another standard. 10-man standard. Keenan Allen is out. Start Josh Palmer, his backup, Damian Pierce, or Drake London.
Rams
Ryan.
gave up a ton to the wide receiver last week. So I understand Drake London is not Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, but I'll take Drake London in this situation.
Josh.
I think I'm going to lean London as well. Pierce, I believe, had a injury in practice today. Wait, which Pierce are we talking about? Damian Pierce, Alec Pierce, the wide receiver?
That's gotta be Damian.
It's got to be Damian Pierce.
Okay. If we're assuming Damian, I'm not starting him until I actually see it on the field. We saw it in preseason. That has.
Are you starting Alec Pierce over any of these guys?
No. Well, again, that's why I'm asking. Josh Palmer, there's a lot of intrigue there, but when Keenan Allen went out, a lot of that volume went to DeAndre Carter. So I'm very curious if that continues.
Fun fact that I was told today, because I said that too. Josh Palmer ran way more routes and was on the field for way more snaps than DeAndre Carter.
Of course he was, because he started the game.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I
The
like
fact of
Palmer.
the matter is this offense still throws to the slot. If DeAndre Carter is lined up in the slot, which I believe he was 91% of his snaps, that's where they're going to go with it. So they're still going to spread the ball around. Like that's going to be a thing. But Carter showed that when he's throwing the football, he can catch, he can play, he can score. So again, I'm not enamored with the Kansas City secondary. Like, they're okay.
As no one should be.
Yeah. So Justin Herbert's going to throw this football all around the field. Everybody's going to get a bit of a taste. I don't know that there's anybody maybe outside of Mike Williams that really has that like big boom potential, because again, we've seen it from Mike Williams. But if this offense for week 2 is as a carbon copy, 6-7 targets tops for anybody.
Josh Palmer for that classic Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver 3 deep touchdown. Classic. Jalen Guyton did it last year. So did Josh Palmer. I'm telling you. Here it is. Josh Palmer. It's happening. I would start Josh Palmer. Okay, and last one. These are the exact same ones that you started. He just misspelled the first one. So from Conrad, he traded Robbie Anderson for Christian Kirk and Mike Thomas. Between Kirk and Michael Thomas, who do you start in the flex this week? Well, I can tell you someone has Christian Kirk as their downside. So Michael Thomas would be the answer to that. Tampa secondary is terrible. It's bad. Their secondary is not good. And very clearly Michael Thomas can still play football. So I will go Michael Thomas.
Only going to get better as the season goes. So.
Yes, I will go Michael Thomas. Josh, go ahead and start starring some of those other ones as we go into the downsides here. Josh, I'll read off your downsides as that's happening. You were a goose egg in the win column last week for downsides or upsides, but you were a goose egg in the loss column for upsides. You were perfect 3-0. You have Christian Kirk outside the top 36 this week, Rashad Bateman outside the top 36, and Ezekiel Elliott under 10 fantasy points. I feel like, we've talked about this before. Kenny Moore's one of the best slot corners in the NFL. That's who Christian Kirk will go up against. Rashad Bateman. We'll see Xavier Howard. We already know Xavier Howard shadows the number 1, which is what he did with Devontae Parker last week. We brought that up. So I'd like for you to talk about Zeke, because Cincinnati, I would say, is not the greatest defense on the face of the planet. And you would think with Dak Prescott being out, and I'm not saying I think this, but you'd think with Dak Prescott being out, they would rely on their former top 5 pick. Why do you believe Zeke doesn't get over 10 points? Excuse me.
Well, Dallas's offensive line is really banged up, and
Bad.
since he has a really good defensive line, so what typically happens when you put a lot of pressure on a not so great and young and inexperienced quarterback, they tend to make a lot of mistakes. Mm-hmm. And when you're able to penetrate the pocket on running plays, those running backs don't typically go anywhere. Zeke struggled against a pretty decent Tampa front, which we all kind of figured he would. As I mentioned last week, he was one of my downsides, and I'll double down this week. Najee didn't do anything spectacular. I think he averaged 2.3 yards per carry. I'm not saying that Zeke's going to average less than 3 yards per carry, but I don't think he's going to be a 4.5. And so, they're going to need to implement a lot of, quick reads, short passes. I think this is gonna, could potentially benefit Tony Pollard in that front. They need Zeke to be a chain mover, and that's not what he's going to do against the Cincy defense. So I'll definitely take the under on 10 fantasy points.
Only offensive touchdown allowed by Cincinnati last week was to a running back through the air. I think it's Tony Pollard this week. So.
Yeah, and it was a little fucking dump pass from Mitch Trubisky, which, granted, was a good pass because he threw it over the pass rush, which is what you're supposed to do. So, quick, Trubisky didn't look terrible. Didn't look bad. I mean, not great, but he didn't look bad. But
2 years to prepare for this game or whatever.
Yeah. But like that, I think that's what Pittsburgh wants. Is they want, you don't need to be great, just don't suck.
Yeah, 100%.
That's it. Yeah, and the defense and hopefully Najee Harris in the run game will.
I think this game went exactly how Pittsburgh drew it up. That he was going to miss that extra point, and then they were going to trade missed field goal.
And they were gonna turn Joe Burrow over 5 times.
5 times, exactly. I can't imagine that wasn't completely planned.
I wanted Pittsburgh to lose so bad, just so the narrative would be they turned over the Bengals 5 times and still lost. That's honestly that you have to try to do that. Ryan, you were 2-0-1 last week. What was the tie that he didn't qualify for?
George Kittle.
Yeah, no play.
George Kittle, DNP, and will probably be a DNP this week as well.
That way, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Evans misses the top 20. We know how bad Mike Evans is against Marshawn Lattimore. There's your reasoning there.
Hasn't hit 15 fantasy points in 7 straight against New Orleans.
Yep. Kyle Pitts won't hit 10 fantasy points. Cowboys offense doesn't score 10 actual points. So the one fantasy relevant one here, obviously, is Kyle Pitts. Josh called his bad week last week. You're doubling down off of his first down. Why do you not like Pitts this week?
If you look at what the Rams did to Dawson Knox, obviously the Bills were able to throw to wide receivers instead, but Knox was held to 1 catch for 5 yards last week. And then Pitts was held to, 2 catches for 19 yards or something along those lines.
Yeah, very minimal.
And so the argument for, it doesn't matter if the Rams are good against the tight end because Pitts plays in the slot. Well, while Isaiah McKenzie did score a touchdown last week, he also caught 1 ball for 19 yards in that touchdown for 9.9 fantasy points. So even if Pitts is the slot, I don't think the Rams are going to struggle against him. I think more than anything that new, I'm sorry, I completely lost. Who did Atlanta play last week?
New Orleans.
Yeah, it was New Orleans. Okay.
You were right. You were getting there.
I think New Orleans gave us the recipe on slowing down Kyle Pitts, and I think the rest of the NFL, knowing that's all they have to do against this offense, is just going to follow suit. So.
And that's why, so it basically guaranteed Kyle Pitts scores more than 9 fantasy points, less than 10 fantasy points. That's
9.9.
and that's the Ryan Weisse guarantee. Okay, my picks. I was 1-2 last week. I was also being a dickhead with my pick. I put Patrick Mahomes. That was an asshole pick. By
the way, he finished QB1 last week.
Oh yeah, that's a Joe pick right there. That's 100% a Joe pick right there.
I think this segment is more about showing our personality and the players we love and hate in the NFL.
Yeah. That was an ass pick for me, 100%. Debo was my lone win, and I'm very happy. I think it should.
You said outside the top 30, and he finished 31, baby.
What up? My only wins. Nyheim Hines inside the top 24, finished top 24. Debo outside the top 30, finishes 31. I mean, tell me how much more perfect I can get in my guesses. Except don't count the 4 losses. Just count the 2 wins and focus on those.
Yeah.
Okay, I have Derrick Henry outside the top 16 against Buffalo. Just a good defense on Monday Night Football. Tom Brady outside the top 12 in New Orleans. I cannot explain to you how bad Tom Brady is against the Saints. It is uncanny. I think I said this last week. There's 3 teams Tom Brady can't play. It is the Dolphins in Miami. Can't play them. It's miraculous that New England ever wins a game in Miami. They're 2-8 against Miami in their last 10 games. That's how bad they are against the Dolphins. And guess what? 5 of those losses came in Miami. The Giants, self-explanatory, and the Saints. The Saints destroy Tom Brady and lock him up. Don't know why. Don't get it. There's no reason. It's not like they're overly great. Also, shout out Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu for making me look really good last week, too. Appreciate you. Robbie Anderson at the New York Giants outside the top 36. I'll touch more on Robbie here. Guys, there's no fucking way. There's no way Robbie Anderson is the wide receiver 1 in Carolina. There's no way. It can't happen. Life shouldn't be like this.
It already
okay? It shouldn't be.
This is the world we live in now.
In what world does DJ Moore not catch the deep ball? In what world? What are we living in?
The Baker Mayfield world.
This is so stupid.
Baker's going to spread the football around. That's how he
operates. Baker's going to
best.
spread the football around. Fuck that. Target DJ Moore. I'm sorry. Like, what is this bullshit? Everyone's like, oh, well, Carolina spreads the ball around. Why?
Cleveland does have a good secondary.
I don't give a shit. Throw the ball to DJ
Cleveland has
Moore.
A good secondary, so when they move the coverage over to DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson's the guy that's open, so Baker's going to find the open guy.
Josh, and stop bringing logic into this fucking argument.
That'll be the big difference this week because the Giants have a shitty secondary. DJ Moore's going to be open all game.
Listen to me. I don't want logic in this argument. I simply want Matt Rule to have a job next year by throwing the football to DJ Moore. And if he doesn't do that, I want the next coach to come in and specifically throw to DJ Moore. Specifically. Because it is pissing me off how good of a receiver he is, and he just doesn't get thrown the ball. Oh, so angry. And also, why is Christian McCaffrey not have 1,700 touches? Like, do you want to win football games? I'm very confused. Very confused.
They're just easing him back.
Yeah, shut up. Okay. Okay, real quick. Should be at around 45 minutes for the sponsor kick. We did have a lot of questions, so that is not on me. We had a lot of questions. Okay. We've been getting through upside downsides in under 12 minutes. Questions are just coming in hot, which we love.
And questions are what matter. So.
Yes, exactly. Right. So sponsor kick. Ryan, you're gonna plug yourself.
I am going to plug myself, but we're going to also talk about my streams of the week, because streams of the week this week are brought to you by Connect Go. If you are not familiar with Connect Go, you need to check it out. Links are in the description. It is an app for Apple and Android where you can connect with some of your favorite fantasy analysts, myself included, but it's not just me. Our good friend Stepmom Lauren is also on there, and you are able to set up text chats, text chats or video calls where you can actually use our time to talk specifically about your fantasy team in a one-on-one environment. Waivers, trades, streams. I actually was just texting with somebody today and they got a preview of the stream of the week before everybody else. So it's a very, very cool thing that you can do with a small fee and get to pick our brains one-on-one about your fantasy team. Again, the app is called Connect Go, Apple and Android. Check it out. And as I said, the streams of the week are brought to you by them this week. We've basically talked about most of these guys already, so I'm going to be quick. I have Matt Ryan at quarterback at Jacksonville. Jacksonville gave up 4 touchdowns to Carson Wentz. Do I need to say any more than that? Ryan dropped 350 last week, but only 1 touchdown, so he's out there in far too many leagues. Everybody I'm mentioning here is available in more than 50% of ESPN leagues as of waivers running this morning, so they should be out there for you. At tight end, we're going to go with Evan Ingram taking on the Colts. Colts gave up 2 touchdowns last week. Unfortunately, none to Josh's guy, Brevin Jordan. They both went to O.J. Howard, but they also gave up over 20 fantasy points to the entire position. And Ingram was the flat-out starter. There were some worries about Dan Arnold, but Ingram played 70% of the snaps. I think it's going to be a big week for him against the Colts. And defense, Joe already touched on it, so I'm not going to say much about Denver. Sacks and turnovers are what you're looking for. I think it's going to come plenty here. It reminds me a lot of the Rams versus Atlanta game where Denver has a lot to prove on one side, and Houston can't live up to what they did last week. So you're going to see an absolute blowout. I'm also going to throw one out there that would have been cheating if I used them for the stream of the week. For some reason, when I looked this morning, the Rams defense was available in 47% of leagues. Go get the Rams defense. It's absolutely ridiculous.
In the league, I had Denver. Someone picked up the Rams defense. Obviously, I wasn't going to drop Denver to pick up.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of people are getting smart and not using waiver priority on defense. So good for you, but go get them now. Rams and Denver are by far, and if you want to throw Cincinnati in there, those are the defenses I want to play everywhere this entire week. They should not be available in that many leagues. So those are the streams of the week brought to you by Connect Go.
Hell yeah. Joe's P Corner, because we're not changing the name. It's Joe's P Corner. This is player fade against the whoever's playing the Patriots, and why I think that. Fade Chase Claypool because he's dog shit. And I'm sorry, dude, Chase Claypool's not getting 6 carries for 36 yards again this week. That's where his fantasy points came from.
If your running back's feet are hurt, who knows? Deebo Samuel.
Do you know what team?
Debo.
Do you know what team they're playing? Do you know what team they're playing?
No, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, no. They're only playing a really good defense coached by one of the best defensive minds, if not the greatest coaching mind in NFL history, who, may have seen a thing or two from wide receiver end arounds. Chase Claypool's not getting away with any of that bullshit this week.
No, I love it.
George Pickens. He'll catch his first NFL touchdown this week against the Pats.
I like it.
No one's covering him. Jonathan Jones looked great last week, I will say. He didn't full on lock up Tyreek, but every single time the ball was in Hill's hands, Jones was within 2 yards of him, and I think that was the game plan. Do not let tackle Tyreek Hill well. Don't let him get outside. And they did tackle Tyreek Hill well. So he'll go on Deontay Johnson most likely. Pickens will probably get Miles Bryant. He might get matched up with Jalen Mills, which I don't need to say anything more about Jalen Mills, but I think George Pickens has a good week. Talking props, Underdog. Josh, you won last week. Ryan, you lost. Josh, you have Bateman under 53.5 receiving yards. You obviously have him in your downside, so that makes sense. And Ryan, you have Darren Waller over 51.5 receiving yards, obviously seeing what Travis Kelce did last week against the Cardinals. That's just kind of a double down right there. Okay, we will end on some audience questions. Then, of course, I think we have a little giveaway that we have to do as well.
Ew.
So
And,
Just
and,
fly
I,
through.
and it's perfect timing with all these new faces in the chat. So
I know. So I'll do this real quick and I'll make Josh's job even harder. If you're not subscribed on YouTube yet, go subscribe now. Make sure your profile is public and you'll be entered to win flash on the screen, Josh. You'll be entered to win that we are giving away in like 5 seconds or 5 minutes, really. You are frozen a signed San Francisco 49ers red Debo Samuel jersey. Red Debo Samuel jersey.
Internet is literally the
Shits out
enemy
the worst
of these giveaways.
Yeah. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's low-key a throwback jersey because that 3D,
the black numbers,
the numbers is a throwback. So it's a throwback 49ers signed Debo Samuel jersey. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure your profile is public. Josh will add you in within the next 5 minutes or so while we fly through the rest of these questions.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple new subscribers, but they're not public profiles, so I don't know who to add.
Make sure you're public. The internet can still access private profiles. Nobody is safe.
Where you are.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know personally, but like
that sounded bad. Unless you win the jersey, and then we'll know.
But like Google and Mark Zuckerberg know where you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's fly through these. Randall Ducati. I want it to be Ducati really badly, just for the vroom, the motorcycle.
Randall, congrats on the new name.
Yeah. or your actual name. We don't know. I traded Eckler and Pitts for Patterson, Gabe Davis, TJ Hawkins, and he cut Lance. So essentially, okay, never mind. 12-team PPR thoughts. Ryan, you're normally quick to think on trades here. What do you think?
I hate every bit of it.
End it there.
Yeah,
no, you're right.
Fine. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah,
it feels like overreaction theater. That's what this feels like.
Yeah,
you gave up too early on Pitts. You gave up way too early on Eckler. Cutting Lance, I think that's probably going to come back and bite you. But again, maybe it doesn't.
No, it's not. So I'll be Mr. Positivity here. First off, bad trade. Second off, it's week 2, man. It's week 2. Brush it off.
Yeah, you can recover.
Yourself. Yeah.
No, you can absolutely recover.
Plenty of time to recover.
Sell Gabe Davis for a fortune when he pops again.
100%. 100%. 100%. Okay. In a 4-man league, I didn't know those existed.
As long as there's like 40 starting spots, I'm all about it because this sounds fun if that's the case.
AJ Brown or Joe Mixon this week. I am probably going to roll Joe Mixon. It just feels more consistent on touches. Josh?
I'm going to reference, Joe, how you like
Go
to
Birds.
shit on Patrick Peterson and how he once was great, but not so much now.
Not anymore.
Give me all the AJ Brown this week.
Yeah, and that's why this
fully predict Monday to be a Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown just show off night.
Stomping.
So, AJ Brown.
It's a show off of SEC wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I am not against AJ Brown. If Christian Watson can find the hole in the defense and his hands, so can AJ Brown.
Yeah.
So can AJ Brown. Okay. Jeb being offered Dalvin Cook for Javonte Williams and DJ Moore. Should I accept? It's a standard league. Yes.
I'm not giving up Williams and Moore for Cook. No.
Not at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Other way around. I thought he was giving up Dalvin Cook. No.
You want the 2 players.
I want the Javonte and the DJ Moore, not Dalvin Cook. All in agreement?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Easy. Our good buddy Michael. Elijah Moore, Drake London, Brandon Ayuk, flex, full PPR. Josh.
Only one?
I think I'm going to go London here out of these 3. Who does the 49ers play this week?
Seattle
at home.
And San Fran.
You know what? Their secondary actually looked decent. They really did.
Decent. I mean,
outside of covering the tight ends, they looked pretty decent.
They got Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they do. He had a really good camp.
He did. No, their corners are very raw and young. I'm not ready to trust them.
They got to the football. They didn't. Outside of the Judy touchdown, there wasn't a whole lot of yak, which I think for a young secondary, that's good.
The energy in that building, that is not happening on Sunday.
And that's what I was going to go with.
Yeah, that's
not
happening.
But you're also expecting a 5th career start Trey Lance career start, Trey Lance to come in and be exponentially better. Like,
No,
I mean,
he's
Ayuk has 2
bad.
catches in the freaking monsoon, which, hey, okay, cool. I'll ride with London with so much of the defensive pressure going to Pitts.
Ryan,
I don't hate London, but it's Ayuk for me.
I'll ride London too. I'm anti Trey Lance.
I know. I say Andrew anti Ayuk. So.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I do like Elijah Moore. I don't think this is a good matchup for him. Let me just preface that.
The 49ers just lost to a team that's going to pick top 5 next year. Don't give a shit if it was in the rain. You're a running team.
Yeah, right. Just run the football.
Yeah, just run the football. You're like, oh, well, their starter got hurt. I've seen Jeff Wilson do pretty well in his day, so doesn't matter. Thy, not thee, thy joke's on you because he's a proper boy. Okay.
I just want to say, shout out to Twitch. Like, we've been getting a lot.
I know
of
what
Twitch
happened.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah,
love this.
Shout out to it. Should we apply to be a Twitch partner? What the hell is happening here? Who to drop for Dobbins? This is a 16-team league that he talked about here.
And why in the world is Dobbins out there?
Yeah, that blows my mind. Jamal Williams, Kenneth Gainwell, David Montgomery, Rashad Penny, Jeff Wilson Jr. First off, in a 16-team league, congratulations on a really good running back room. Because I'm looking at your whole roster overall. I'm imagining you probably went Deebo Samuel in the first round, and then followed it up with David Montgomery. And then you probably went Josh Allen. If not, you went Deebo and Josh Allen.
It looks to me like Josh Allen was probably the 2nd round pick.
This is an incredible roster for a 16
For a 16-team league, you did very well.
Yeah, there's a lot
if
of
you
there.
Want to pick up Dobbins,
I would drop Jamal Williams.
Oh, I would.
I was going to say Gainwell. There you go. We got a different answer from all three of us.
And I'll refute all these and I'll say Jamal Williams, he's a touchdown vulture, and I think you are going off of touchdowns. He's not going to get the volume. Kenneth Gainwell I think is going to progressively get more and more involved as the season goes on. So you hold on to Kenneth Gainwell.
My next question would be, is this a PPR league? Because he has not preferenced this. If it's a PPR league, I'm 100% keeping Gainwell over Williams. If it's standard, vice versa.
That's fair. I'm dropping Rashad. Kenneth Walker was just announced healthy. Kenneth Walker is officially going to be in for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not saying that takes away every single Rashad Penny carry. I'm just saying
the leash gets shorter.
Yeah, the leash gets much shorter. Much shorter.
Still not dropping a starting running back.
That's fair.
Guys I could drop.
That's fair. I'm gonna drop Rashad Penny personally, but I'm also like I'm okay with Jamal Williams. I'm not dropping Kenneth Gainwell. I'm okay with Jamal Williams. So I'll give you the two against one benefit of the doubt, Jamal Williams. Yeah, Jamal Williams. And if it is standard, I'll go with Josh as well. Drop Kenneth Gainwell. If it's standard, I think everyone here says Kenneth Gainwell, and that's very fair.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yep. Okay. Need a flex full PPR A-Rob, DeAndre Carter, Adam Thielen, Josh.
Full PPR. Yeah, I'll side with Ryan. Give me Allen Robinson this week.
We know Ryan's answer. You will also go.
Is that actually DeAndre Carter, or are you just guessing?
No, it's got to be DeAndre. Who the hell else?
Michael Carter. It's a flex, so it could include.
It could be.
So
I went with all receivers.
Oh, you're fine. I was laughing just because that would not have been the assumption I jumped to.
Well, here's the thing: would Michael Carter be in over Allen Robinson, Josh?
No, I think I'd still go A-Rob.
Yeah,
I'll go Allen Robinson as well. If you want someone that's maybe a little more trustworthy, I'm okay with Adam Thielen too, but I'll go Allen Robinson. Mahomes or Hurts? We actually have the same question twice. So this is
the same guy though. If you look at the name,
it's fantastic.
From Twitch and
YouTube. We'll go with the YouTube one. Mahomes or Hurts? Josh.
I don't know how you can bench Patrick Mahomes. I love Jalen Hurts, but give me Mahomes at this point.
Ryan.
2 favorite quarterbacks this week, but I'll ride Mahomes.
I will say Hurts because he has 4 extra days to prepare than Patrick Mahomes. That's why. I think it's a shootout in LA. But
Thursday games last year have typically been shootouts.
But here's the thing.
No defense at all.
We all know Thursday Night Football is the biggest coin flip for every single fantasy question. Yeah, every week. It does not matter who it is. It's always a coin flip. I will say Hurts because he has the extra time to prepare. That's all. My brother, Pickens, Olave, are they all rookies? Dubs, Hardman, and Zay Jones. Pickens against the Patriots at home. Olave at home against the Bucks. Dubs, where the hell are they? They're at home against Chicago?
Yep.
Home against Chicago. Mecole Hardman tomorrow night against the Chargers at home. Zay Jones is home against Indianapolis, who have lost their last 5 games in Jacksonville, for the record.
Including one to get knocked out of the playoffs.
Including one to get knocked out of the playoffs. Ryan. Oh, never mind, Josh.
Damn, you're going to go to me first?
Josh.
I don't know. I want to hear what you guys say.
I'll say.
I know you're on Pickens. I will say,
No.
for me, this comes down to Olave versus Zay Jones. And
That's what it came down to for
again,
me.
sitting Christian Kirk,
I love Pickens.
he's on my downside, so I'm going to ride with Zay Jones. But I was very encouraged by what I saw with Chris Olave last week. Route percentage, all that stuff. Jameis is going to have a day. That's all I'm going to say. So
No,
I would not be shocked
Zay
if
Jones,
Olave comes out and plays, but give me Zay Jones.
Zay Jones for floor, Olave for ceiling.
I feel like I was probably one of the first to say, beware of Zay Jones when he signed with Jacksonville.
Yeah, you did.
I picked him up in a dynasty league. I drafted him in Scott Fish. God knows my fucking receiver room is terrible. I drafted John Mechie. That hurts. So Zay Jones, I have been a fan of. And last week, I think slightly confirmed for me that he is going to be involved in that offense. And if Trevor Lawrence could throw a damn football, he would have also had a touchdown.
Yeah.
So Zay Jones can beat coverage. He's got his progression from Buffalo to the Raiders to Jacksonville. His progression of how much better he's gotten has been immense.
And he was really good in college, too. I was really surprised
fantastic.
He flamed out of Buffalo. Yeah.
He flamed up, but he's gotten better and better and better. And you see that from receivers all the time, but he's gotten a lot better. Of this bunch, I like Zay Jones the most, personally.
I'm with it.
Cassius Stylus, how do you feel about trading Julio for D-Hop and Darnell Mooney?
As quickly as possible.
I probably would do that as well. My only worry is that Arizona offense did not.
I mean, that's getting top value for Julio, in all honesty.
I would trade
Julio. Don't get me wrong. I still think Julio's going to have a good start to the season. But, the moment that Chris Godwin comes back, he's going to be a 3 at best. So
as quickly as you can, get that trade through.
Yeah. All right, last one before we do the jersey giveaway. Would you rather pick up Rex Burkhead or Robbie Anderson? Y'all know my answer. Robbie seemed to be Baker's favorite target, but Burkhead got 14 carries and 8 targets. Yeah, that's not even just because I don't like Robbie Anderson and it won't hold up. Rex Burkhead is the RB1 for Houston, and he's not a good RB1. Let's preface that. But he's going to get volume, and he's a fantastic pass-catching running back.
Yep. And running backs matter way more than wide receivers. Always running back.
Yeah. Give me Burkhead.
Rex Burkhead.
I don't know how long it's going to last, but give me Burkhead.
Always
good to see you, JAC. I know you were
absolutely.
last year. Good to see you. Okay. Joshua, light him up, baby. Who's getting the old school throwback Deebo Samuel jersey? Did we go over this week? Maybe a little bit. Were there a lot of good questions this week?
I don't think we've had this many user questions ever. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Well, especially across all the different platforms too. So that's been really fun.
Yeah,
I first want to preface. I have 166 names on this, and we have 414 subscribers. So hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Club Fantasy FFL. Any one of us 3 on the screen. Don't DM Bismarck Larks for that. DM
Bismarck
Joe
Larks.
Yeah. Myself at the one Hudsonian, Ryan at the Fantasy 5. That's 5 spelled out. We want to make sure that you guys get, entered into these because you're supporting us and we want to pay you back for that. So if you don't see your name on this list as we're spinning this wheel, let's try to rectify that because, again, I want to get everybody's name on there. So here we go. By the way, shout out to Carrington. He just got his signed Josh Allen jersey from the Women of Fantasy raffles today. So shout out
to the yes.
Zach Ritchie.
Zach Ritchie. I don't know who you are, but congratulations. Zach.
That's actually a friend of my roommate. The camera guy. So shout out Zach.
Thanks for the sub, Zach.
There you go.
Elixir says rigged.
As he says every time.
Carrington wants the other 234 spots.
There you go.
Just to help him out.
So, shout out to Zach for winning the signed Deebo Samuel jersey, as we are about 36 away now from 450. So I'm going to give away another jersey when we hit 450, and because he's been such a hot button topic all off season, and because
Young Wei Koo,
myself, Joe, we absolutely love him, and we've kind of turned Ryan to this side. I'm going to give away a signed jersey.
Hey, I'm subscribed. Is
Signed
my name on
Portland
there? I'm subscribed. Is my name on there?
I know your family is, so.
Yeah. They can give it to you if they want.
I took you, myself, and Ryan out of it. So
boo. I want insider trading. Boo. If Nancy Pelosi can do it, so can I. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Sorry. Dude, that was a soft toss to myself. I had to do it. It was a soft toss to myself.
Nobody sets Joe up like Joe.
Nobody sets me up like me. God, imagine. Carrington says he's going to make another YouTube account just for me. Great. I would prefer if you don't steal my identity, but if it's for this purpose, that's totally fine.
He just needs your social security number,
credit card information,
credit card,
VIN number on my Cadillac, all these different things.
He said white chocolate's your username.
How about Hunter Renfrow Lover 69? Can we do that? Is that taken? But it's LVR, so no one can really tell.
I like it.
Love you, Hunter. Okay, upcoming shows: Sneaky Flex tomorrow night 6:30 Eastern. Kelly and Rowan and Maisie will be there as well. You Down with IDP also tomorrow night 7 p.m. Eastern. That is with myself, hosted by Queen Roxanne. Jorge won't be joining us, but he's normally our traditional guest every single week. Nate Markham is also there with us tomorrow. Starts a different day. Myself, actually, I won't be there this weekend. Sadly,
I'm filling in for you this week.
Josh will be filling in for me. Faith will be hosting. We'll have Joel, correct? Will be joining us.
I got to confirm with
Fantasy.
Joel. And then I'm still got to find a guest for the weekend.
That's true.
We'll have a full slate. It'll be fun.
Cool. We'll have a full slate. We'll have 4 people here to answer your start sit questions. We do it always on Saturday, SSDD. I'm sorry, I won't be there. I have to photograph the Bismarck Marathon, one of our events that we run at Bismarck Larks. Go follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. TFS and Chill with guest Eric Romanoff from Pros with Joe's, We'll be there on Sunday at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it. Fantastic. And Monday's Hangxiety, hosted by Ryan, featuring Miss Kira Wojtrowski and Josh, will be happening Monday morning at 10. So just turn that on.
Got a lot of compliments on that show, by the way. So yeah. I'm really excited
11,
about how that came out. So
it'll be 11.
Yeah, it's Monday at 11.
Monday at 11.
It's 10 your time.
Sorry, 10 my time. I was like, I'm pretty sure I turned it on.
I knew where
10.
you were last. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I turned it on at 10. 11 a.m. Eastern. It's a good time. You'll see me chirp in the chat if I don't have a meeting at work. So, upcoming articles, DFS Match Report, Blurred Lines, Stream of the Week, Confidence Play, all of them. And you can find them all at clubfantasyffl.com. You can follow us at Club Fantasy FFL on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the One Hudsonian, Fantasy 5, and myself at Joe_Zollo, but really at Bismarck Larks, because I am the face of the organization, and I can say that proudly and confidently, not cocky. I truly am. This has been No Punt Intended. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Love to see all the new faces. We hope to see you guys back next week. Hope to see you tomorrow, Saturday. Dude, I'm just excited because we see all these new faces. Everything's happening. Everything's blowing up. We appreciate every single one of you guys.
And real quick, just this past week, we had over almost 17,000 YouTube impressions. So shout out to all of you. This has been a huge week 1 for everyone here at Club Fantasy. So shout out to all of you. It's been fantastic. And
we are not worthy.
Let's kick those numbers up and keep the train going.
We are not worthy. Guys, I smell fajitas, so we're going to wrap this up. Always remember, defense wins championships. Offense wins fantasy football. We will see you next week.